Welcome, folks. I'm Jabby Kawai, joined by Achara Kirk.
What's up?
We got two things we're going to look at. We're going to look at Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness official IMAX trailer. And then we're going to follow that up with new Rockstars trailer breakdown for the IMAX trailer. So if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button, please, bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Otherwise, we'll send you into the multiverse of something.
It's not a bad punishment. If it's a good multiverse, I'm down.
Philip DeFranco always says, "Oh, I'm going to punch you in the throat."
Yeah.
Or I'm going to punch you in the throat.
Every night, I dream the same dream.
I think I'm going to watch this on IMAX.
The nightmare begins.
I mean, it looks nice.
Yeah.
I did what I had to do to protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things just got out of hand.
You break the rules. Look out! And become a hero. I do it and I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
All right. I was trying really hard watching this IMAX trailer. I'm like, I'm going to try and see if there's anything that I noticed before Erik Voss tells me that there's stuff I needed to have noticed. And I'm like, I feel like that was the same trailer. It looked really nice.
It looked like the same trailer, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see any difference there. Real quick, so you guys know, the IMAX that's used in Marvel films, as far as I know, is generally speaking not like the true IMAX format. It is a taller format than you typically get with movies, which is 239 or 235, the widescreen format. And so this just makes it taller, which is essentially 16:9, which is your standard television
TV,
format.
yeah.
I'm just going to look at the IMDb specs real quick. So there's two aspect ratios, which is 239 and 190, the IMAX version. So it's taller. You are getting more real estate, but it's not IMAX like if Nolan shot it. You know, like
Right.
when you watch The Dark Knight in theaters, or Catching Fire, the Hunger Games movie, or even some special scenes of Mission Impossible, the previous one where he's in Dubai. Those are properly IMAX formatted scenes. What you get here, though, is a taller, you get more real estate for the whole movie. So
Yeah.
that's the trade-off.
Is it that with the 239 aspect ratio, they've just cropped in more, whereas with the IMAX aspect ratio, it's the whole thing? Because
Yes.
he's saying like, oh, here's some hidden details that we didn't see. So presumably there's more here in the IMAX just in terms of visibility.
You're correct. So like if this was the IMAX format, this is 239. That's what it looks like. That's the difference. The chart doesn't know what's going on. I'm doing this in editing. But yeah, like 239 is just more cinematic looking, and you're right. They shot it in that full aspect ratio, but they consider while shooting it like where the crop would be.
Right.
And all they're doing is letting that play out completely as it were shot.
Yeah,
you know?
because watching that trailer, I was like, I don't know, but I feel like it feels more cinematic to me. Like it looks more beautiful.
Oh, you're also
somehow.
watching in 4K on a 4K monitor. But this isn't a cheap endeavor, just so you guys know. Like, I'm making it sound cheap because it's not like true IMAX. It's not a cheap endeavor because they have to do the VFX for that entire thing. It would be cheaper to do VFX for the 239 and that's it.
Sure.
So, just keep that in mind. Anyway, let's jump into the new Rockstars thing. Here we go.
Apparently, there's 16 new details that Erik Voss found.
Okay.
16, you guys.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness released a new IMAX trailer, and this new widened aspect ratio reveals apparently 26% more of each shot. So, theoretically, I should now be able to find 26% more details, right? Right? Because Easter eggs are always hidden in the upper and lower margins of every frame to a proportional degree. Well, since literally every pixel of this footage is filled with madness, I am here to tell you, hell yeah, I Scooby-Dooed this shit. I beat those odds and found 30% more details than in my first breakdown. And that difference means my perception is 14% sharper than what Marvel is willing to show us with a slightly thicker angle. Meaning the thicker we get, the deeper I go. Your cringe means
That sounded
this
nasty.
shot of Strange's nightmare in front of that melting sanctum, one that I pointed out, is actually one story higher than the sanctum normally is, so this is some nightmarish, weird sanctum. This shot has now been widened so that the twisting branches of that dead tree creep down from overhead. All of these trees are now more visible and in sharper detail, and they may indicate whether this is truly a dream or something else, because with that red ring in the sky, these might actually be the trees of Wanda's grove, that pocket reality that Strange finds her in, now warped, because later in the trailer, when Strange, who's still wearing that same scarf, goes from that white blossoming grove to a red tinted hellscape, wearing that same outfit, behind him are similar twisted tree branches. This IMAX trailer also gives us a new context to that odd blue.
I don't know who said it first, if it was Canadian Lad or someone else.
Saw it in
we saw it in Canadian Lad first.
Video.
Yeah, but I don't know who actually said it first, but we noticed that in Canadian Lad's video.
Blue patch sewn into the back of Strange's cloak, because in front of that statue, the widened angle reveals that the cloak there is only burned at that point, doesn't yet have the blue patch, and the shot of Strange with the dinosaurs, there too, no blue patch, just that dark burned spot. So there may be some early conflict that burns the cloak, leading to him getting it repaired with a new blue patch, perhaps from his buddies at the Illuminati. Then in the shot of sorcerers defending Cumberbatch from an explosion, it now looks like their golden eldritch magic is being sucked upward if you go through frame by frame before the explosion rocks them, as if this threat is using their own magic against them. There's also two black aerial blips flying rightward. It could be Great Odin's ravens, or more likely just some fleeing birds. Then in the shot of Strange conjuring red orbs from the dark hole, two new details in the shot after this when Strange slams the magic back into the book. The window behind him is now unbroken, whereas in the wider shot, the panes were broken. So what is going on here? Well, the shot of him pushing the spells back in the book might actually be reversed. He might actually be releasing them, and that release is what breaks the window. Or maybe conjuring these red orbs briefly teleports Strange into this darker, more broken version of the sanctum.
I feel like the IMAX trailer didn't really reveal these things. He just caught this time around.
Hey,
more details, I guess.
Yeah, potato. Yes, that's the right word, isn't it? Yes.
Tomato.
Potato patutu. You can notice more things in the IMAX trailer, perhaps because it's bigger, it's clearer. He also has the benefit of probably having watched this trailer 10,000 times at this point, and so he's just like, I have not seen this before.
I'm just curious.
What?
I guess he's onto something there, because I'm looking right now. The maximum quality you can get off of the original trailer is 1080p.
IMAX one is 4K.
Correct. So yeah, and in fairness to Erik Voss, sure, the more details will be rendered more clearly, more crisply, so that you can see things better, because it's more fine.
Yeah, and he's seen this trailer so many times at this point that he's just like, I know when something's new.
And if you look closely, when he shoves those spells back in, to the right, you can see a chess set. And I am obligated to mention it because we now have Marvel's top chess player crossing over into this universe, and these two must sit down for one game at least. Then we see the shot of America Chavez running from Gargantos, and the shot seems so fixated on the star itself on the back of her jacket, as if that is the bullseye target. target that Gargantos' eye is focused on. Almost like Strange's blue patch, or even like Loki's variant jacket, all these a bit of flair to mark the fugitive. And in this IMAX shot, you can now see Adriana's deli. There is an Adriana Soria from Marvel Comics. That is the Spider Queen, a telepathic mutant. Is this a reference to her? We don't know yet, but we gotta come back to the shot of Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier, which, by the way, Patrick Stewart finally admitted to in an interview with Jake Hamilton.
I actually didn't recognize my own voice. It sounded different.
I didn't either.
I had a cold or something. I don't know. But I was astonished. And all they saw was the back of my shoulder and I think my earlobe, nothing else, that there would have been so many connections made. But it pleased me.
And here, in the
Patrick
IMAX shot,
Stewart,
you can
I
see
love
more
you.
clearly his seat back, separate from his shoulder, meaning he is seated as he glides forward, probably in his hover chair. The dais actually has 6 chairs with an empty slot in the middle for Professor X, meaning that there are 7 members of the MCU Illuminati, not 6. Then in that shot of America Chavez and Strange tumbling past the dinosaurs, if you look closely, you can see America grabbing Strange's eye of Agamotto, and that is what triggers their breaking into a new reality, and that break takes the shape of a star. As I explored in another video,
never
the
ever see
return
that.
of Strange's eye of Agamotto
You don't see that?
may indicate this is the second of 3 alternate eyes of Agamotto.
No, the
this one
cartoon.
having
And
linked
every time
with
I watch the
America
trailer,
Chavez.
I
And then
never
on the other
notice
side of
it.
the Star Portal, yes, is an animated cartoon reality, but we gotta point out this is not the same animation style as we saw in What If.
Yeah,
it looks more like Looney Tunes.
Flatter style, something closer to the 90s X-Men, which is coming back to Disney Plus as X-Men 97. Then these shots of this mystery figure fighting Wanda. The IMAX version of the shot reveals Wanda's red chaos magic glow on that rubble before the glowing figure smashes through it. How, when Wanda fought Thanos in Endgame, all that rubble around him got lifted with him. Wanda loves to weaponize her surroundings. But more significantly, in the shot of Wanda blocking the blow behind her, you can now see more clearly one of the statues of this location. All of these hold these wing-like planks, almost like angels, except here, you can see some kind of writing on the edges of the planks. Still too blurry to make out what it says, but now it kind of looks like these dudes are like the bindings of open books. Also, the one right behind Wanda has a kind of node on his forehead, almost like goggles, or maybe a minor helmet light. Falcon does have goggles. These could all represent different Avengers even. Then in this shot of the Utopian Sanctum with the statue of Supreme Strange, notice this one has no goatee, an absurdly high collar, major douchebag vibes. But we also now see more of his sanctum. Normally that window is much higher on the attic level, but here it is lower.
Well, maybe
on
it's forced perspective.
And that brick wall around it forms an eye shape, making the whole building a kind of eye of Agamotto. Now the window has always been on.
Yeah, it's lower.
Yeah.
It's certainly lower. It's a different dimension. Multiverse of madness. It's madness.
It's like, let's have a big window at the bottom.
And then Doctor Strange has that, PlayStation 5 look going.
The higher level to draw less attention to the building from the street level, so that you could walk right by it without ever really looking up and thinking how weird it is. But here, the window's right there, super noticeable, right behind the even more unavoidable statue.
It's a statement.
My favorite new detail, even more unavoidable statue. But my favorite new detail, this shot of the 2 Wandas reveals more of the Scarlet Witch costume, the scratches on her chest pieces, and how right in the middle of the collar, there is an opening perfectly in the shape of the Mind Stone.
Oh, shit.
How his mental presence lives on in her heart. Then America Chavez leaps off this altar. The back wall of this temple looks like the Scarlet Witch page of the Darkhold, and the altar itself has engravings of a ram's head, as does the cover of the Darkhold book, making me think this could be the Darkhold of Wundagore Mountain, where the elder god Cthulhu wrote the Darkhold, and then in that mountain stayed dormant until he returned to curse Wanda with chaos magic when she was a baby. Then as the sorcerer battles Gargantos, you can actually see some glowing runes on his tentacles, which match those of that ribbon entity that attacked America Chavez earlier, perhaps marking both of these beasts as interdimensional threats that Defender Strange and his squad must now wrangle. Then in the shot of Defender Strange blocking all those dark skeletons from pushing into our reality, above that rift on the stone surfaces, now more visible in frame, carved runes. This may be the mouth of the Darkhold Temple of Wundagore Mountain. But also, and really this is only noticeable in the IMAX frame, I think, this black rift is in the shape of a star, almost like a 5-petal flower opening. Or I guess like an opening.
Hold on, what is he talking about?
Be the
what
mouth
are you on?
of the Darkhold Temple of Wundagore Mountain. But also, and really this is only noticeable in the IMAX frame, I think, this black rift is in the shape of a star. Almost.
What star? In what universe is that the shape of a star? It looks like the shape of wings, maybe. Am I crazy?
I see an upside down Y.
This feels like a Rorschach test that we are failing right now.
No, do you see what I'm saying? So I see this way, and then up. That's a Y upside down.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a very badly drawn star. I guess if it's a black star, it's not like a good star. And so, fine, I guess.
Like a 5-petal flower opening, or I guess like an opening hand if you think about it. But this being a star portal suggests that it was created by America Chavez. In fact, maybe even that same punch she did from the altar might have caused this rift and might have been exactly what Cthulhu wanted her to do. So there you have it. That's at least 16 new things that I found just by watching a bigger version of this.
I think that some of those details you pointed out definitely have merit because like there are some things that you can only see when the top and bottom of the frame are more revealed. There are some things he pointed out where I'm like, okay, I think you could have probably seen that if you had just looked. I don't know. I'm not doing what he does. I don't study frame by frame the way he does, and so perhaps that with the increased sharpness you can see things better. But like there are some leaps that I think he's making there, like the star being tied to America Chavez. I'm like, I don't see the star. First off,
the black star.
But the notion that somehow America Chavez is being controlled, is that what he was suggesting towards the end?
Or rather that not so much controlled, but
manipulated?
Kind of, yeah, like manipulated, like being led to do something in order to fulfill the desires of this entity.
I do like that idea. Just as something to throw out there as like, oh, that could be really, really bad.
That could be, that could be very interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I like where he's going with his interpretations, although that last star thing, the same. I was like, that's a bit of a stretch though, isn't it, Erik Voss? But I like the way you think.
I just didn't see the star.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess...
Yeah, that's why I said...
If you look at it like that, like this...
It was just kind of like, I'm like...
Maybe there's 3-sided stars out there.
I don't know, yeah. It's like when you go to an art gallery with someone who's like a real art aficionado, and then they're all like, wow, look at the amazing brushstrokes and this, that, and the other, and this symbolizes this and that, and you're just looking at it and you're like...
Yeah.
I see a red square.
Yeah. If they're playing this anywhere in IMAX 3D, that's how I'd want to watch this movie.
Ooh.
Typically speaking, I'm not excited about the Marvel IMAX versions of movies. I'm gonna be super honest with you guys. Like, it doesn't mean a heck of a lot to me because most of what you need for the story is contained in that 2:39 frame, and it doesn't really enhance my experience with immersion into the story when you give me that taller format. It's like I forget after about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
However, when you're giving me the taller IMAX version, I don't forget. Like I'm very aware when I'm watching Dune, like this is epic. You know?
That is the pinnacle for me right now when I think about an IMAX film that I really, really loved. It was Dune, because it's like night and day difference. Like they made such good use of that extra real estate.
Exactly.
And here I'm kind of getting a similar vibe where it's like, oh, you do get that sense of like, wow, there's so much more in the vertical.
Well, with Doctor Strange in particular, it is a visually stimulating movie. It's like there's always a lot going on in Doctor Strange in terms of all the effects and whatnot. It's bananas. It's like Inception on cocaine, And so with that, every extra inch of frame I can get, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna go after it, That's all I'm saying. And so this is an exception I'm making where I have to watch this. I would like to watch this in IMAX, just to get every detail, possible. But I appreciated Erik Voss's extra.
It was fun, definitely. And I think my favorite detail was the one about the Mind Stone shaped space in her suit.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Romantic.
That was pretty interesting. I mean, we don't know for sure what that means. We have to obviously watch the movie to find out. That might be a detail that never comes up in the story at all.
Maybe not, but I love that he caught that and like the correlation between the shapes, because it is kind of beautiful. Because like their love story is so tragic and so. It's romantic.
So anyways, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Do let us know your feelings in the comments below. What of the 16 details do you think is accurate? Do you think all 16 are accurate, or do you think some of it is a stretch? We'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. And that's it for now. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up, please. I am Jabby Kuwait. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.